I stood at the back of the auditorium, watching her. My wife, or at least I thought she was, standing at the podium, smiling that smile, the one that had once been mine. The one I'd fought for, sacrificed everything for. The crowd laughed at her jokes, the professors applauded her achievements, and her classmates cheered as if they didn't know. But I knew. She didn't even glance in my direction. This is what I get after all these years. 3 years. 3 jobs. 3 grueling, sleepless years. I had worked every shift they would give me at the diner, at the garage, at the bookstore. All of it to pay for her tuition, to help her achieve her dreams of becoming a doctor. A dream I thought was our dream. A dream I thought we shared. And here I was, standing in the shadows, ignored. Her graduation day, and I was nothing but an afterthought. When she finished her speech, I expected her to come down, to at least acknowledge me, to say something, anything, but she didn't. Instead, she waved to the crowd and then turned toward a man I'd never seen before. He was tall, confident, with a sharp suit and a look of adoration on his face. He wrapped his arm around her waist, pulling her in close, smiling like a king with his queen. "This is my husband," she announced to the crowd, her voice steady, proud. "The man responsible for who I am today." My chest tightened. My fists clenched. The blood in my veins turned to ice. I was frozen. The betrayal hit me like a blow to the gut, knocking the air out of my lungs. She married him? The crowd applauded. Her friends gathered around them, congratulating her. They didn't even know the half of it. How many nights had I stayed up late, exhausted, making sure she had what she needed? How many times had I skipped meals to buy her books? How many times had I kissed her forehead after yet another long day at the hospital, knowing my body was on the edge of collapse, but still, I gave her everything. Now she was calling this man husband? It wasn't just the fact that she was with someone else. It was the cold, calculated nature of it. She'd done this with no remorse, no guilt. She had replaced me, and worse, she was making it look like I never mattered. I felt the anger build within me, but I didn't act. Not yet. I stayed silent, hidden in the crowd, my mind working through the layers of betrayal. I was not going to rush into this. No, I would wait. I would be patient. She thought I was weak. She thought I wouldn't notice. But I noticed everything. Every lie, every glance she shared with him behind my back, every stolen moment. She didn't even have the decency to say goodbye. She's going to regret this. The next few days passed in a blur. I didn't confront her. I didn't even talk to her. I let her live her life with her new husband. But behind my silence, I was watching. I was gathering information. I knew where he worked. I knew his habits. I knew his weaknesses. The first step was simple. I made sure he lost his job. One phone call, just one, and the right pieces fell into place. I'd had a few conversations with people in his industry. A few well-placed rumors. His reputation was ruined before he even knew it. The phone calls, the emails, the whispered accusations of incompetence, all of it started to pile up. He was fired within a week. I watched her panic as she tried to help him. Her confidence cracked for the first time since I had known her. She called me once, but I didn't answer. Let her think she's in control. Let her think she can fix it. The second step was more personal. I knew her family. They had always been kind to me, always treated me as one of their own. I made sure her mother knew every detail of their affair. The little texts, the late-night meetings. Her mother was devastated. I let her sit with that knowledge, let her feel the weight of it, as I knew she would tell her father. And when the conversation reached him, the distance between them started to grow. She didn't even know what was happening. It was all happening behind her back, like the invisible threads of a spider's web tightening around her, her life slowly unraveling. Finally, the last step. I arranged the meeting, carefully, strategically. I invited her and her husband to dinner. It was all set. I watched as she entered the restaurant, her eyes searching for me, for some sign that everything was still okay. She didn't know the trap had already been set. We sat. We ate. We talked. She smiled, but I could see the unease in her eyes. I could see the cracks forming in her perfect world. And then, after the meal, after the drinks had flowed too freely, I made my move. "Tell me," I said calmly, "how does it feel to live a lie? How does it feel to betray the man who gave up everything for you?" Her face twisted. She was caught off guard, but I could see the denial in her eyes. She thought she could still control the narrative. I stood up, sliding the envelope across the table. "Everything," I said quietly, watching her hands tremble as she opened it, "has consequences." Inside the envelope was evidence. Text messages. Photographs. The same kind of betrayal she had shown me now in front of her. She looked at the images of her husband with other women. The proof was irrefutable. The silence in the room was suffocating. I waited, enjoying the feeling of control, the power surging through me. She stood up, her face pale, her hands shaking. Her world had shattered. As she stammered for words, I turned to leave. One final glance. Her husband was no longer in the room. I had already made sure of that. I walked out of the restaurant, leaving her there. Ruined, powerless, stunned.